Morning, folks. This is Paul. Let's give it a few more minutes to see who else joins us.
Good morning, folks. Paul, sorry, I've been out of pocket for a bit, and I didn't get to send you like a agenda item, but I had a quick chat with SmartNIC organizers, and I can update today.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, it looks like it might just be the four of us for a bit here. So let me. Richard is here and Elon. Perfect. So Manoj, you've got something to talk about, and then I've just got some updates on the deck and YouTube. That's about it.
Okay, you want to go first, Paul, or?
Yeah, no, you go ahead. Go ahead, Manoj.
Okay. Yeah, so I had a chat with the SmartNIC organizers last week. I actually missed their organizing committee meeting. As I said, Paul, I was out of pocket. I don't know if you attended.
Yeah, I did attend. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, I sent a note saying that, I could make it, and they wanted to follow up with me and have a chat. I'd known these guys, Lance and folks, for a long time. We used to participate when I was part of Xilinx in the Ethernet Summit and whatnot.
Okay.
So, yeah, so there are two things that we brainstormed. I'll basically boil it down to two things. One offer they made was, because OPI is such a big part of the whole, they call it SmartNIC, but it's essentially DPU, IPU. They said, if you folks have any plans of, doing not quite a joint conference, but he was asking me if we get together, or I said, no, all our, TC meetings and marketing outreach meetings have been on Zoom. But he just, Lance just threw out there saying that if we want to, have a face-to-face meeting, OPI, whether it is TCs or even the marketing group, then they can accommodate. So that's number one. And number two, he said that, we can get you a table, but, if you guys can sponsor a table, that's great. But if you don't have a budget, and if you guys, want to be there front and center, and, he'll make arrangements for getting us a table. So those are the two updates.
Okay. Great. we didn't talk about either of those during the SmartNIC Summit meeting, but I did chat with them about and took the action item to create a keynote type session on SmartNICs. And so kind of definitions was part of the discussion, and the other part was so what is a SmartNIC? What is a DPU? What are these things? And the other section of the talk was, how does OPI fit in? What are we trying to do? What is the need for a foundation, a framework, and why do we see that need, and how are we addressing it? So that was what I chatted with them about during the meeting.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I forgot to bring that up. He did mention that he had, you guys had that discussion during that meeting. And in addition to the table, he said, it would be great if you guys can also do a keynote. So yeah, thanks for the info.
Good.
Yeah, so any thoughts on, we, even as a team, we haven't, gotten together. So if some of you folks that are remote, not in Bay Area, if anyway you guys were planning to be around here, we can carve out a time. It's like over 3 days or so, but we can nail down a day and time, and at least our group or TC could get together face to face.
I think it's a great idea, and I'll bring it up to the TSC and see if they've the TSC meeting on Thursday and see what they have to say.
We have plenty of people in the Bay. Joe, myself, some of the guys from from Quayside. So we have plenty of people in the Bay.
Right. Yeah. Plenty of people that can do it. It's again, I think a lot of our companies are tightening the screws down on travel. So getting to a place like that has become a little difficult. But yes, we have lots of folks in the Bay. I think like I said, I'll bring it up at the TSC. I would love to see if we could all get together and have a mini working group or whatever we want to call it, and put it on the schedule. So we could actually do one of our outreach committee meetings there face to face, put it on their schedule. We could have the work group folks do theirs face to face and put it on the schedule. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. And we can do our core team meeting, and then maybe we can just announce that there is half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever, 1 hour open to the rest.
Yes. Yeah, I think thank you for doing that. I know that when they were asking for representatives, if we knew anybody from Keysight, and who else were they looking for?
Actually, that was an action I took in one of the meetings, because I was supposed to reach out to Venkat and see if he could be part of, either panel, keynote, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
We decide as a group, but
yeah. So that would be great. I'm trying to see because I did put it in the Slack channel. Who did I? So they were looking for Red Hat, Keysight, and Marvell, which was interesting. If you're connected with them.
they might not have cleaned up the notes.
Yeah. And let's see. Oh, Venkat did. Venkat had sent them an email a while back and said he hadn't got a reply. He's going to he's gonna reach out again with the email that I put in the channel.
Yeah, and
And
the
I'll talk
idea
to Chris about that.
okay, very good. Yeah, the idea was like, if individual companies independently wanted to be more active, then, the idea was just connecting
Yes.
folks that we interact with directly with the organizing committee there, right? So,
Yep. Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Anything else there?
just the second topic, getting a table. Do we have any marketing budget? Can we help them a bit? Or he's offered to, just give it to us. But
we do have some budget for that. I think it's most of the budget for that sort of thing was to put on our own event, but I'm not sure that we're ready to do that. I think Chris Murphy had a reservation or two about putting one on yet until we had something more to show, putting on a full event. So I'll circle back with her on that budget. But if I do remember, we may have 10 or 20,000 for other events, to participate in other events. Do you remember how much the tables cost at SmartNext Summit? I can go look.
I'm going by my memory. I think it is 2,500.
Okay.
But I may be wrong. I'm driving. I'm sorry.
Paul, were you at the show last time?
I was not at the show last time. It's not very largely attended, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, it was very small, and the tables, in my mind, it was almost pathetic. It was a very small room, at least at that venue. It was a very small room with the tables spread across the room. It was like walking into a classroom, and each student put a table out with what they had, like flyers and such. It's not a proper station, so it's very, very small. To be honest, I think that we should have a discussion with the organizers and see if we can do an event that will paint the right colors for people that want to attend, meaning that if we want to do it properly, I think we should indeed paint it as an OPI type of an event, and talk to them about what they would like to see, and give them some feedback on what we would like to see. Because if you want to take this seriously, then it needs to be an event that explains what is it about DPUs that we're tackling, what is it about DPU that needs to be tackled, and more of a discussion than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
very well. No, very well summarized. I 100% agree. I was also there, and that's the whole idea. It's an opportunity for us also to take a lead. And I mean, they had some momentum, but we can. It's in everybody's interest, in our industry's interest, to basically make DPU, IPU broadly deployed, right? And we can leverage this forum.
Hey guys, this is Jan. Sorry, which event? I joined about 10 minutes.
SmartNext Summit.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, so we want to disrupt it, huh? Would be good.
So yeah, just to catch you up, Jan, I was at the planning meeting this week. We discussed having a keynote session there, and what should be part of that keynote session. So I'm putting together a proposal that I'll bring to this group before I submit. They're not really accepting those until February, but they asked me to put one in earlier. So I'll do that over this week. And Manoj had talked to them about, they were offering space that we could do face-to-face work group meetings. So our subgroup meetings and face-to-face outreach committee meetings. And then also a space to do a kind of Q&A, OPI Q&A session. People could drop in and ask questions. So,
and it's planned for San Jose, or somewhere in the Bay Area.
It's San Jose, yes, San Jose. It's at the DoubleTree in San Jose on First. or right off of First,
Mhm.
near the airport.
Cool. Yeah, there's someone on that planning committee on the Smart NIC Summit from ARM as well, and we just exchanged some notes recently. So I think
Is
it's
it Mario? No. Who was there was someone there, yes. Someone from ARM there.
yeah. I gotta go back and look.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm still new here, so I don't remember everyone's by name.
Yep.
But there is interest and involvement in from ARM as well. So let me see if I can get them also kind of support this whole idea.
Got it.
Right. So you're submitting the proposal for a keynote, right? Just so I can articulate it.
Yes,
to the
I will,
person.
and I'll be looking for folks to speak there at that. So yes, I will be submitting that.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm. So back to what you were saying, Alaa, do you think this is not worth putting a lot of effort into yet? Or do you think that we should put a lot of effort into it and try and make it something that it isn't yet?
Both options are liable. I mean, if all I'm saying is if we go into it, we should go into it full-heartedly and make the effort to make this a real thing. Because if we, pardon my French, half-ass it, and
Mhm.
this is like OPI, but people come and see this OPI shady thing, it will just hurt us. So I much rather decide if we want to go in all in or not at all.
Got it.
Well, I mean, there's this dilemma that I have personally, and I think we all kind of faced it. Name of the event and the tentative disassociation that we would like to, or distance that we would like to take from the true smart NICs, right, or the smart NICs of the past, right? I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity, but this may have some connotations that we don't intend. And so if anything, I'd like to talk about that, or I'd like people to share their, ideas or thoughts on that topic.
Right. One of the suggestions I had was to make part of our keynote a how OPI defines these things. So smart NIC, DPU, IPU, which devices fall into which category, and what is it that OPI is concerned with? So
yeah, this is I get it that would be great. I think it's much needed as well, especially for the customer side, right? And people just playing along, not the vendors necessarily. But I was more reacting to what Alaa said, and how do we engage? If we move all in, right, and kind of embrace it, that could send the wrong message. Instead, in my view, again, personal for now, and definitely has been, so it hasn't changed recently, is that we come and we kind of disrupt the whole idea, and we say this is the next step, and this is what the API is doing, and this is where smart NIC kind of should be going, and that's kind of the next iteration. If we come in and say we embrace the event and move all in, then that could be a little controversial and maybe even hurt us long run, as we're trying to clearly, distinctly associate or disassociate us from the smart NICs and establish our own kind of space.
got it.
So I think this probably worthy. Not that it won't go there, since some funding would probably be involved. But if we do something there, but that would be a worthy of a board's discussion, probably.
Okay.
Maybe it's still early days for us, but one question I have was, are we at some point planning our own event?
I think we will. Last time we discussed that during the budgeting session, the discussion was let's wait on putting on our own event because we're not quite ready to do so. Was the message I got from the board during the budgeting discussion.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we also talked at some point about having like a 1-year anniversary, somewhere along the lines of Open Summit, right? Linux Foundation. And I'm sure they will be able to accommodate having a side event, right? And we could potentially do something there. This would probably be less, I don't know about money part, right? We know they charge, but at least it would be less cumbersome and could be done with less overhead. Like
Right.
Getting a venue, setting things up, sending the invites, promoting the event, blah, blah, blah. They'll take care of all of it. I mean, we pay for it, but I think that would be money well spent. Whether it's the right audience or not, and whether people will go to Vancouver for that or not, that's something that we probably should continue to discuss with members and whoever else wants to cast their opinion, like myself. But it's the thing is that I agree. We probably can't. We don't have enough momentum, membership, and share of mind to have our separate, completely standalone event just yet. Unless it's a work group specific, there's some project needed things that need to be done, and that should be happening anyway, right? Regardless.
Correct. So how do we move things like this forward? Do we just ask for folks to volunteer to jump on these trains and try and get them done? Do we feel like we need as a group to agree that we should do these things and then assign someone? How do folks suggest we move this ahead? Any suggestions?
I think as a group, we need to agree on our participation and whatnot, right? And then we can kind of delegate.
Okay.
But this is all very good discussion. I agree 100% with the exhibit section. I think for us having a table doesn't make sense from 2 points. I mean, we don't have anything to show yet, right? But that's the most important. So maybe we can pass on that, but I don't think it would hurt us to give a keynote, right? Or participate in a panel discussion. So those are my 2 cents.
No, I think we have previously said that, yeah, let's do something. Let's do what we can at the SmartNIC Summit. So we did agree to that.
Yeah, and I mean, don't misinterpret, please, what I said. I mean, having a keynote with a topic like OPI and SmartNICs, how do we work, how do we move along or something like that, right? Whatever, just made that up. Versus, hey, let's have our side event, let's have meetings there, blah, 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 like endorsing this SmartNIC concept and OPI's kind of, participation in it. This sends 2 different messages. One is, educate, advocate in a way, right? And the other one is like embrace and work together. So I just wanted to make sure we walk the fine line. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking more like along the lines of how do we, let's assume everybody decides, yes, we should be doing our own event and we should be doing it in July. Per se, or whenever SmartNIC or whenever the open Open Source Summit is next. There's a fair amount of work that has to happen for that to be a reality. I know I can work on some of that, but I can't. How do we advance that if that's what we decide to do? Is it wait for people to volunteer, or is it, do we just start assigning tasks to member companies and then ask them to find someone who can tackle said task? Suggestions? And I'll say I feel like waiting for people to volunteer has had us waiting for a long time.
Paul, can you repeat the ask, please?
So the ask is, let's assume that we're going to do something like this, do an event, or do something. Doesn't really matter what the task is. Do we wait for volunteers from this committee to make things happen, or do we assign tasks to member companies and then require the member companies to find someone to execute on that task? And I feel like waiting for volunteers has had us waiting for quite a while for things to happen.
I think that if we find a way to do an event that is ours, whether it's going hand in hand with SmartNIC, or tagging along to a bigger event and having like a small event ahead of it or after it, whatever the case may be, as groups our size do.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we make that distinction, yes, we should assign tasks. And I think that each company, I mean, this is pure marketing. Each company has a marketing team. So far, they haven't been pulled into OPI as much, but they definitely should.
Okay. Sounds
That
good.
should be also endorsed by the board.
Yeah,
Not that my opinion counts on this, but yeah, I agree. Is like, if we decide that this decision is made at the board level, that means the support and endorsement from them, as well as the budgetary, any budgetary contributions,
Mm-hmm.
and that should be executed upon.
Okay. So I've taken an action item to bring this up with the TSC and at the next board meeting. Okay, written that down on my task list. Got it. Anything else to discuss around the SmartNIC Summit? Okay, then I'll just give a few updates. So first is YouTube updates. I have figured out how to create a playlist, and I've created 2 playlists for our day 1 and day 2 of the alpha event on our YouTube channel. So I linked to those videos that are on the IPDK website. Figured out how to do that. There are others that I will start linking to, other videos of presentations that we've done. So I'll start linking to those. I also went through the process manually of uploading meeting minutes. So I went through that process of uploading the outreach committee's first set of meeting minutes, and manually it takes about an hour to upload one video, an hour of computer time. So you've got to go find the video, download it, upload it, fill out a form on YouTube's website that takes 5+ minutes, and then it uploads, and it takes quite a bit of time to upload and be transcoded into YouTube's format. So those are, I'm next going to start looking for a way to automate that. I'm sure people have done that. And I'm going to look around for a way to automate that process so it's not so heavy. But that's what's happened with YouTube. Any discussion?
And this is, Paul, just for clarity, this is, you're talking about like recordings of this meeting that we are on right now.
Recordings of this meeting. One of the things we talked about doing is making sure that we put the recordings of these meetings, of our work group meetings, in a place that's accessible to all, and that will be our YouTube channel. So I will be doing that once I find a better way to do it than babysit it. Make sense?
Yeah. Would transcripts be better? Just saying, because I don't think people would listen to.
I don't think so either.
30 to 45 or 1 hour.
Yeah.
Of us just going back and forth or whatever.
Yeah, I know. It just is one of the things it does is it does provide some traffic up there. Transcripts are a possibility. They can have transcripts turned on if I wanted to. The next update is that I did submit the deck that we reviewed. I reviewed it with the TSC last week for the SNIA conference webinar. We're doing this week, we will be doing a dry run of that. And then next week, I think it's on the 25th is when we're going to be presenting that. Believe it's the 25th. Yes, 25th at 10 a.m. Pacific is when we're going to present that session. All right, that's that update. And the last one is Gene Bagwell from Verizon has reached out. He is working on getting his company to join as a member company. So he's asked several questions like, what are the differences between a general member and a premier member? Where does he find good information to share with his team on what are the benefits and that sort of thing? So I've been responding to him to help him with that process.
So just so you know, Paul, in case you don't, I'm pretty sure you do. Gene has been our advocate, our champion at Verizon for a very long time.
For a very long time, yes.
And he went up to his management several times with this. And last time that he did, if you remember, he and his team actually came to meetings and pitched. They explained what they're looking for. They explained what they were interested in and so on. And from then on out, we didn't really give them a very wide response, or we didn't really adhere to what they asked for. So we really need to help them. If we want to drive that message internally at Verizon, and I know the people he's up against, we really need to strengthen his message to show that we are, as a group, working towards the goals that they have.
The goals that they have, okay. Was that a Diamond Bluff meeting?
No, it wasn't at that time. It was, I don't know what, I don't remember if it was 4 months ago or 5 months ago or whatever,
Okay.
but he came into, I think it was first provisioning and then another group, and he actually said what they're looking for. And it was about service chaining. It was about how to manage the GPUs as a group, and those concepts that are a bit one level removed from what we're doing currently. And
Right.
Some of the feedback after the fact was, no, this is too far out, or this is a much more advanced. We'll get there in like 2 years or so. And I think that turned them off a little bit.
Okay. And is that a topic that we should take back to the TSC again?
Yeah, I'm actually, I had a discussion with Joe about this in the use case group, and I'm putting together a slide or two about this topic, more general, not just about Verizon, more general about this topic to the TSC.
Okay, good. And
Are there proceedings from that meeting that we can look at?
I'm sure we can
Well,
find the recording somewhere. If we look it up, I'm sure we can find it, but they really came in and just pitched what they would like to see. That's all I recall, that it was a very detailed way of looking at things.
and you think it was in the provisioning meeting?
I believe so. We can ask Boris, but I believe so. At least part of it was, though I think that they did the provisioning and they did one more. It wasn't in my group, but
Okay.
it was provisioning and something else. Maybe POC. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it would be interesting to recirculate that.
Yeah. Perfect. Yandi, can you take that with Boris to see if you can find the date that happened? The recording and or the meeting minutes. It might be something that Boris is pretty good about putting here's what happened in the Slack channels. Summarizing the meeting's agenda.
Yeah, I was
Sorry,
also
did
going
you-
to bring that up. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, is there a way to extract those, that feedback from Verizon? That would be good.
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, it's just we should go back and find the meeting minutes and the recording and see if we can highlight it again. Does someone have some time to work with Boris to do that?
I can ping him. I don't know if you called my name initially or not.
I did,
You
but
did.
yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Any other agenda items? That's what I had on my list, were those topics. All right, if not, I will finish putting these minutes together and post them, and then we can go from there. Thank you, folks, for
Thanks.
the time. And
Thanks,
we'll
Paul.
see you next week.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye.